And I have said before, Mr. Deputy Speaker, no return to boom and bust.
Good evening. Earlier this week, it was revealed that house prices are rising at their fastest rate for almost 3 years.
Britain's second largest home loan provider, Abbey, says it'll now lend couples up to 5 times their salary.
The financial services sector is a great example of a high-skilled, high value-added, talent-driven industry. World-class globalization. I have no doubt open markets, free trade, flexibility, virtuous circle globalization, prosperity, world-class.
Greed is good.
On the good ship, lollipop, it's a sweet trip to a candy shop where bonbons play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay. Lemonade stands everywhere, Cracker Jack stands belly air, and there you are, happy landing on a chocolate bar. Eat the sugar bowl, do the Tootsie Roll with the big bad jelly fruit cake. If you eat too much, you'll awake with a tummy ache.
This used to be the building that housed Landsbanki Guernsey Bank before it went into administration in October 2008. Some 1,600 depositors had their savings in this bank.
Well, I came over to Guernsey in 1933, and because I had been ill, and I came to be looked after by a nurse here. And eventually I made Guernsey my home.
The reality of the Landsbanki Guernsey affair for all of us, and I'm speaking very much from the heart for myself, is that it is the first thing that I think about as I wake in the morning, and it's the last thing I think about when I go to bed at night.
I put my money in Landsbanki. I believe I did due diligence, and I spoke to their head office in London. I also received a brochure here. Guernsey's sophisticated infrastructure and regulatory environment, together with its political stability, provides investors with a high level of security. Could I ask for more? No, I don't think so, until I found out that they'd gone bust.
I mean, for us, it just happens that we knew someone who worked at Landsbanki, and you think, well, you know someone personally. How much safer could it be? You know, they're a good, loyal employee, they're a local person, that's where I'm going to put my money. And that's really why we made the final decision. The wrong one. I
saved up from by going to charity shops for my clothes and thinking how I could save in any possible way, and which I did over 25 years. But I always felt that I was saving up for any future when I could no longer stay in my own home, and I'd have to go into an expensive nursing home or care home or somewhere.
Well, my house in France is now on the market, but I have now had to drop the price by something in excess of 40%. in order to try and make it a viable sale in this rather deflated market. So I can't pretend I'm starving, but I can say without a doubt that it's made a terrible, terrible dent into what was going to be, 10 or 15, 20 years of my retirement.
My partner and I now joke about savings, really, should we bother? Is there any point? Will we lose it again? I suppose the good thing is now there is a depositors scheme in Guernsey. And if we started saving again, we would now be protected. Luckily for everyone else who is saving, who didn't have our problems, they're already protected. But that's kind of thanks to us losing our money. So we will do the same with the balance that comes to us as the small amount we've had back already. And that's actually not to invest our money in Guernsey. We have chosen to open a bank account elsewhere. And that's where we've put the little bit of money that we've had back so far. And that's probably what we'll be doing with the rest of our money.
One of my great regrets, for my father is that he didn't spend more of the money that he'd accrued, over the years. And my mum, again, for hard work throughout her working life, has managed to put by her savings to enjoy, in her later years. And my father died in 2006, actually, paradoxically, about 2 months prior to the takeover of Landsbanki. So, all our lives have been thrown into a disarray really, since that time. And then coming on top of all that was the collapse of the bank. My mother's savings all there, ready for her enjoyment for the rest of her years. But it's my mum's life savings, and they've been snatched away, principally because of the incompetency of greedy fat cat bankers in other parts of the world, and a collapse of the system that has been predominantly overseen by George Bush and Gordon Brown, and I do see Gordon as being one of the prime movers and supporters of a banking system whose regulation has signally failed.
You feel Guernsey's a good place and that people know what they're doing, and you're quite happy with it. I've always thought, you see, I'm not very financially minded, but on the other hand, I always thought that things that were allowed to come into the island were pretty safe.
Thank you and welcome to the Wheel of Misfortune, where you win or lose by the spin of a wheel. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our three contestants.
My name's Roy. I'm a retired stonemason from Pembrokeshire in South Wales, and I put my money in IceSafe.
Hi, I'm Denise. I'm a field sales representative. I come from Petersfield in Hampshire, and I put my money in Northern Rock in Guernsey.
Hi, my name's George. I'm a freelance cartoonist from Greenwich in South London, and I put my money in Landsbanki Guernsey.
What are you hoping for on the Wheel of Misfortune today?
Well, Julian, the IceSave account I have is run by Landsbanki in Iceland, but unfortunately they've gone bust. I'm hoping that the government will bail me out.
Well, Roy, it seems very unlikely to me. I mean, the account is Icelandic, but let's let the wheel decide. Fantastic, Roy, you get to keep your money. And now the next contestant, please.
I do hope the government will bail out Northern Rock Guernsey.
The UK government have made it very clear that the financial affairs of Guernsey are nothing to do with the UK. But let's spin the wheel and see what happens. A very lucky break for you, Denise. The government will bail you out. And now, George, it's your turn.
My money's in Landsbanki Guernsey. It's more like savings.
Well, George, the government saved iSafe customers who had their money in Landsbanki Iceland, and they also saved the Northern Rock Guernsey customers, so it will seem logical that the government will also help you out. Let's spin the wheel and see what will happen. I'm very sorry, George, but nobody's going to help you. Not the Guernsey authorities, and certainly not the UK government.
That was my life savings. What am I meant to do now?
I'm very sorry about the outcome, George, but this game is about luck, and you haven't got any. Well, that's all we have time for this week, and I hope you'll join us next week where we find out who are the winners and who are the losers on the Wheel of Misfortune.